everybody.
Okay, alright, we're gonna get started.
Silence.
Okay, so first day we got to Taiwan. We had like the most amazing train ride. I might say that
Yes, we do have open live stream right now.
we have what live stream?
Open.
What is open live stream?
Open live stream.
Okay. Uh,
I mean, the public.
okay.
Fidelity quest.
Yes, Jack.
Quester, yeah.
Had to do that because I only saw Pat on the live stream for the Patreon, so I think it's because I forgot to update on the Facebook page because a lot of people get notification on the Facebook page, and that's my bad. So I wanted to do public so everyone gets it. All right, cool. But it's good because I get to update everybody. And I think this is a good one to do as public because honestly, a lot of our future vlogs are gonna be based on our trip to Taiwan. I will be switching that to our Wednesday time slot. And if I do the Discuss Asia live series, those will go on the Saturday time slots now. And I've been editing for like the last 2 days the first Discuss Asia live series. This is the first Discuss Asia live series where I actually spent time editing it. I hope you guys enjoy it. You will see it this Saturday. But as far as the Wednesdays, it'll be Taiwan. It'll probably be Taiwan for quite some time. But you will give you a rough idea of the different vlogs. First of all, I mentioned in my other live streams that we will probably have 3 vlogs per day. So every vlog is going to be like the third of a day. There's not going to be any, actually there is morning this time, but most of the time it's going to be early afternoon. And we're going to have another thing that we do late afternoon. And then we'll do like an evening, which is usually a street market kind of video. And I've shot like the street market videos in 60 frames per second. It's lower resolution, but you should have more of a feeling that you're actually at the night market because the frame rate's a little faster. Anyways, I'm not going to get into technicals, but hopefully you guys see it. But first day we go to Taiwan. We go to the Mitsui outlet, which we didn't take pictures of because we wanted to just try to get through that as fast as possible. Mayu was the one who wanted to go to this outlet. But we ended up getting like a Japan jersey, which actually I like because we didn't bring enough. But what you're seeing here is the subway trip. It's not subway, it's really a SkyTrain for the airport, most of it. But it is super scenic, guys. I don't even think the video does justice. And the pictures definitely don't do justice as to how beautiful this city is. I was super stoked because I had the feel of Korea, Seoul, but it just was a lot more cleaner. And this is what we're gonna show in the the vlog afterwards, which will be Zeeman area, and that's like the more trendier Hongdae, as Koreans would say, area.
There's some question.
Yeah, questions.
Did you have a budget for Taiwan?
Yes,
and did you stay within your budget?
We definitely did have a budget. Generally, my budget is as cheap as we can go. Mayu will tell you, and we did stay within my expectations because food actually ended up being cheaper in Taiwan than even Thailand. And you guys already know Thailand's pretty cheap, but food, guys, it's so delicious, but it's super cheap. So we were definitely able to stay within the budget, and we pre-booked all the hotels, so we already had that out of the way. The hotels were the biggest expense. Maya, you're adjusting something.
Done.
Okay. Hotels are the biggest expense. As far as that, after that, everything else is you'll stay within budget because the subway and the bus, it's only like 50 cents to go anywhere. And even to like go from like the city center to like a more outskirts of Taipei to this area called Jufan, we paid maybe $2-3. You really don't spend much money on transportation, and food is super duper cheap. We will definitely go over all the costs. You'll see it's very easy to stay within budget. Um, and we definitely ate a lot too. Oh, this you see is the Japan jersey that we picked up.
The blue one is
Being
Japan.
being Korean, Koreans will know that this is actually a very.
Humiliating.
It's not humiliating, but it's something that Koreans don't do. But there's a whole story behind it. Mayu cheered for Korea, so I'm gonna be a good sport and cheer for Japan too. You know.
This is post office.
Oh yeah, so this is the following day. Before we go to Jufen, we tried to shop for some camera equipment, which I thought might be cheap in Taiwan. And basically, this vlog will tell you that it is not cheap to buy electronics in Taiwan, which surprises me because a lot of you guys know Taiwan. I think it's a Taiwanese company that makes all our iPhones.
Oh, Prince is on now.
Oh, Prince is on.
Yo, he's yo.
What is that, Prince?
Did you see Godzilla?
Did we see goods? Oh, we couldn't see it. We didn't have time. So it was sort of it wasn't in the area that we were going to, so we couldn't make it. But yeah, that's why we end up shopping that morning, and we go to Jufen. It was pretty hectic, but we have an amazing time there. This is when we do Jufen street market food vlog, but the pictures we take here are in a less touristy area away from the street market, but it was super peaceful. It was very romantic. You'll see this if you stick around and watch like in our upcoming vlogs.
Series?
We'll have after the main 10 minutes, 15-minute vlogs, we will have like a 30-minute, 40-minute monologue where we talk about something more in depth, etc. If you stick around for that, you'll see this area. We really enjoyed it. So the next day we go to Pingxi, and Pingxi is a place that I found out because I was researching and somebody said this is a less touristy area than Shifen, which is very popular, and it was featured in a movie, and I ended up watching this Taiwanese movie and I liked it. The movie was called
You Are an Apple.
You Are the Apple of My
Of
Eye.
My
or something.
Eyes.
It's very famous. But I convinced Mayu to wear this Chinese dress, which she sort of protested against. She's like, oh, it's weird to wear this Chinese dress in the train. But, as you can see, the pictures came out great. So, it was awesome. The train even looks very Chinese, as you can see. With that circular, iconic looking...
Prince asking how was the food?
How much was the food?
How was the food?
The food was...
Great.
awesome. You'll see that I'm not a foodie vlogger, but you'll see that this
We eat a
Taiwan trip
lot. Yeah, we eat a lot.
is almost like a foodie vlogger, vlog. But we try to focus a lot on the sites, as that's what I sort of like.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot ignore the food. The food is so delicious. We loved it, and super affordable. I would say it's even more affordable than Thailand, which says a lot.
Yeah. They have a lot of portion. That's why.
And for those of you guys, just as a side note, for those of you guys who like drinking, alcohol in Taiwan is much cheaper than Thailand for sure.
But
Actually, Thailand is
taxes-
very expensive.
If it's imported, those
Even
liquors.
non and imported, it's not particularly cheap. But if you go to Korea, for example, alcohol is very cheap. Taiwan is, I think,
Cheap.
I keep alluding Taiwan to Korea because there's a lot of similarities between Taiwan and Korea as far as like pricing, as the food is cheap, but it looks like housing is super expensive, just like Korea. So as long as you guys can get the hotels booked well, you'll have a good time.
Any stomach problem with the street food.
No, guys, you will not have. I don't think you'll have stomach problems with the street food. I felt that Taiwan was just as sanitary as Korea, and I've never had food poisoning in Korea. They're relatively they
Not
don't
in Korea,
mistreat
not
the
in
food.
Taiwan.
Taiwan.
So you don't have any
Yeah, I've never had food poisoning in Korea. Even that one time, if you see, we go to I forgot where it was, Namdaemun,
Busan.
and we eat like
Chicken
a super
skewer.
raw chicken. Still didn't get salmonella. I'm surprised we didn't.
But we didn't finish it because
We
it
put it in
just
our mouth and bit
lost
into it. Ugh.
appetite.
That was like the only bad experience we had.
Show them you are the best photo, jumping photo.
Oh, Mayu became a pro at timing my jumping photos. And this particular trip, we spent a lot of time taking selfies, as you can see, because I am trying to make thumbnails that people will actually click on this time.
Clickbait.
Usually I focus a lot on landscape photos like this, just because that's how I like to sort of enjoy my trips. But ever since I became like a vlogger, I'm focused more on video, and now I'm just focused more on selfies because we need those for thumbnails. And we've made a couple mistakes in the past where we think a vlog is gonna be like this, and then the whole plan changes. And this happens to us in Taiwan too, because trips in Asia are very unpredictable as the weather and different things happen. And what I originally planned to be the vlog is no longer the vlog, and the thumbnail becomes irrelevant. So this time we just took a bunch of selfies everywhere to have our bases covered. But yeah, this is still Pingshi, guys. This is all Pingshi. We took so many selfies. But you know, Mayu
See?
got dressed up in her Chinese dress.
Focus on Mayu picture first for thumbnail. Selfies are the must. You not so much.
Yes, as you can see, we only have one picture where it's both of us together, because we were taking a photo for this Russian woman, and then we're like, oh, okay, can you take a picture for us too? Remember in front of the temple?
When was it?
That was
Did
the
it
only
come?
time, yeah. But
Did it come?
thumbnails
Nice.
will all be Mayu, as you can see. Hope you guys enjoy the thumbnails. Yeah, and if you guys aren't aware already, I also have an Instagram. I have two Instagrams actually, and I have a Flickr account which I put the high resolution photos in. But I haven't really been updating the Flickr because not too many people follow me on there, anyways. But for this trip, because Mayu really wants all these selfies to post on her Facebook and stuff, I will be I will try not to
Try not to what?
try not to not edit these. These take a lot of time editing.
Try not to give me the picture yet.
Yeah, so I will try to edit these on a timely manner and give it to her so she can post it on her Facebook, and we'll try to put it on our Flickr account too, so you can see like the amazing pictures. This, by the way, we're back in Jufen after Pingxi, and we go around and try to find the best sites, because this is our second night in Jufen, our last night in Jufen, and we wanted to see the best views because it's supposed to be a beautiful city. We try to go where other tourists generally don't go, so this is like extremely high up in the hills away from most of the tourists, and we get really amazing views. We try to go through unknown alleyways. This is the only picture we took of that, but you'll see in our video. And then once you get to the touristy area, you'll see there's just a ton of tourists here. This is why we wanted to sort of give you guys an experience of a side of Jufen that is not touristy. A lot of other vloggers have said it's overrated, but after having visited there, if you explore and get lost a bit, you will find some amazing places. And even the touristy areas such as this, the sites are amazing. So this is a tea house we go to. We will probably end up doing 2 vlogs for that evening, just based on the amount of content I shot, because we shoot so much here. And we're doing mostly eating here. We end up eating at this tea house, which wasn't that amazing, but we'll tell you about it because if you ever do visit, this would be the tea house you want to go to get the sights. This tea house back here, though, is the one that inspired the anime Spirited Away, which, if you guys are anime fans, you might know about. So Mayu really wanted to take a lot of pictures and see this. So.
TQ asking, isn't it the late in Thailand right now?
Yeah, it
It's
is.
1 a.m. now.
It's 1 a.m., but
He's a night owl.
yeah, I'm a night owl. I
So.
tend to stay up until like 4 or 5 a.m. editing vlogs because it's a quiet time for me, so I can focus better.
Quick question. Do you still stay in Bangkok?
Bangkok?
What is, I don't know Bangkok. What is Bangkok?
I'm not quite sure.
Bangkok?
Bangkok, yes.
Ah.
We're still in Bangkok.
Okay.
Guys, by the way, what I'm talking about is our Taiwan trip.
Yes, we are in Bangkok.
Yeah. So this is our last morning in Jufen. We climbed this mountain, amazing sights. If you guys seen our live stream, this is where we took it. And we drop our baggage off at Rifeng
Whoa.
and then get back on the Ping Sea line, and then we end up going to see this waterfall in Shifen, which actually wasn't all that great. It was hot. It was so hot. But you'll see in the video. It's interesting. We take some great pictures, so I think people will click on it.
Yeah.
But what was really interesting though is at Pingxi we do this thing where we float these lanterns. And a lot of people, actually I think more people know Thailand for the lanterns that you float up. But Mayu tells me that this actually originated in Taiwan.
Yeah.
But they float these lanterns, and Shifen is a more touristy area, so we decided to do it at Pingxi the day before. But at Shifen, there's so many people doing these lanterns that I got so much slow motion footage on it. I think it will be interesting when I actually edit it. These girls end up putting like 3 of them up, and they all end up burning roofs. It's quite interesting. Mayu's sleeping, so I just took pictures.
Yeah.
And then that evening we go to Keelung, which is a port city, and then we do a food night market review. You'll see that. Actually, we didn't take too many
There's a
pictures.
boy looking at me.
Yeah, this one. The boy's like, hey, what's she holding up? That's probably gonna be a thumbnail.
Nutritious sandwiches.
And the next day, where do we go? Oh, we go back to Taipei.
Taipei, yeah.
Then we go to Taipei 101, and we try to rent a bicycle, and me and Mayu get in an argument. We miss a stop, and we end up taking a long time getting back to our hotel. So this is all we do. Go to Taipei 101, and then...
You went to Shirin Night Market?
Yeah.
No, this is...
This is
Lao
a Songshan night market. When we do a Songshan night market, this might be our favorite night market, which isn't really covered in a lot of vlogs, and we happened by it sort of by chance, because the hotel was cheaper around the outskirt areas, but it's a more local one. So we'll be talking about that. And then the next day after that, we moved to our hotel that we stayed for 3 days. And we really like this area because it's super residential. As you can see, like, it has this very Chinese feel to it. It sort of feels like Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
So, wish we had more time to take more
And
pictures.
Daniel asked me, does Mayu want more the we most arguments? No, I always end up being quiet and getting upset more.
What?
He asking, does Mayu win most arguments? You know,
Does Mayu win most arguments?
there's no like winner or loser. It's just like getting like frustrated more. Did you use Google Map to navigate there?
Yeah, actually, we use Google Map, and we even have this whole situation where Google Maps fails us. Yeah, you will see in our vlog.
That is
I
the
make
biggest failure in this trip.
I make a fool of myself, and because of one goof, you will see in the vlog.
Speechless.
It ruins almost our whole day, but we end up salvaging it because we end up going to a zoo that we never heard of, and I get to see pandas. Actually, we'll show you pictures of that. We might have not taken pictures of the zoo. Oh no. We end up going to this very famous temple that everyone says you should go to, and
Oldest temple in Taiwan.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of temples because I've just been to too many and I'm not Buddhist, but we had to go because it is a temple that everyone goes to. And I gotta say, this temple was quite interesting. You will see that in a vlog too. But it was interesting in a point where you can sort of tell that Taiwanese people are very... It left an impression on me. I'll leave that for the vlog. I talk about it for 30-40 minutes. But yeah, we go to this temple. And this is the only picture we have of us together because another... I think she was Russian. She told us, can you take a picture for us? And then after I took a picture for her, I'm like, could you take a picture for us too? And she actually took that's a really good angle. I'm quite happy.
Oh yeah, this one is really nice.
Yeah. So this is the only picture where you'll see me and Maya together. Other than that, I'm pretty much a cameraman. So what was interesting though is after the temple, we walk to Zeeman station and we end up going to these really interesting looking places.
We end up buying the melon there.
Yeah, we even bought this melon there, and there's some shady activity going on here. I'll let you guys guess what happens here. But yeah, it's another night market, but mainly for older people. And then Mayu finds out about this old town, and I think it's sort of overrated, so we don't spend that much time, but we do take some selfies. But yeah, it's mainly of Mayu, very close up, because in the background there's a bunch of tourists.
They have a baby stroller
That's why
stroller
I
there.
blurred it out. Yes, there's a baby
Stroller.
stroller, a bunch of people taking selfies there. I use a very low f-stop. She said, it's an old town, it looks scenic. But then, actually, look at how scenic this is right next to it. It's not like a designated place, but just every little alley in Taiwan, it just has history and it just feels so real. So we loved it. This is sort of what I wanted to see in China until I've recently seen videos of China, and I realized that China is so modern now, and it looks like an even more modern version of Korea with all the apartment buildings that look all the same. So I'm really happy that we went to Taiwan and we found these old-looking streets. We loved it. Oh, we're going to the night market, and Mayu takes random pictures of me doing pole dancing.
Yeah.
So this is the famous night market. It's the what was it called?
Shilin Night Market.
Shilin Night Market?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Shilin Night Market. You'll see every vlogger cover it and rave about it. We actually didn't find it that great, but we make the most out of it and find a drinking place and try Taiwanese alcohol
original.
to try to make the vlog interesting, and it became interesting because
Someone got super drunk.
apparently it's 58% alcohol, this Taiwanese alcohol there. So yeah, that's quite interesting, I guess. And then
I should take it for the HCR.
oh yeah, we did go take pictures here at the zoo, but that's the only pictures.
No more the pandas.
No panda pictures. Oh, there is a reason though why we didn't take many pictures of the panda, but I wish we did. But this is pretty cool. This butterfly would not leave Mayu alone. That's why we have so many pictures of this butterfly and Mayu. So that's me photobombing.
He wanted to put a photo with the butterfly.
Maybe the resolution's not good, but there's a butterfly right there.
He was
Mayu was
trying.
getting all the love.
He was trying.
Um,
This is shopping day.
Oh, and then we were so tired this day, we ended up just going grocery shopping. And we do That will definitely be a thumbnail right there.
This is all what we bought.
This is our souvenir grocery shopping, and we'll do a vlog on that. Um, and then we go to the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial, and it's quite interesting actually. I didn't know that they had like these honor guards, and then they sweat so much that there's a dedicated person that goes around and wipes their sweat. You'll see that in the vlog. This isn't like a main vlog though, it's just like a quick stop. The part that you guys will probably be more interested in is we will go to
小笼包.
Din Tai Fung,
Oh.
the original Din Tai Fung in Taiwan. Those of you guys who know about Xiaolongbao, this is where it's like
Michelin star craze.
yeah, it's
Chinese
basically the
stew.
mecca of Din Tai Fung. I mean, Xiaolongbao, and we go there, we do this review, and afterwards we go to where we were supposed to have gone the day before, which is go on this cable car, and I do a more artsy video on this. That's why you see more artsy pictures here. Low resolution. Are you getting any comments?
Nope.
People are just looking at
Like
the
I've been to many those places too. Nice to see your experience. They say.
Yeah.
You living the life looks awesome.
This is we actually want to say that the places we went to are just the main tourist attractions. And as a matter of fact, the most fun we had was when we didn't go to the main tourist attractions, but I guess the first time I go to a country, I always make an effort to go to the main tourist attractions because as the years go by, the main tourist attractions become even more touristy. So I feel like the best time to go to the main tourist attractions is as soon as possible.
How many days would you recommend to spend time in Taiwan? It depends how many places you want to cover. You know, they have a lot of places to go, I guess.
Yeah, we spent 9 days.
Only in Taipei.
And
I
you will
mean,
see that we rushed through it, and it's good that we didn't decide to go into central and southern Taiwan,
like Kaohsiung or
or
Taichung.
even the national park that's very famous, it's like Totoro or Tororo National Park.
Tororo.
Yeah, we didn't even go there, and there's places that we still couldn't go, and the places we go to are the top attractions because like I said, we have to go there first because it'll get touristier and even less authentic as time goes by, but eventually you have to hit those up because it's just like you have to say if you've been to Taiwan, you've at least been to these main attractions. So at least I know, and especially as a vlogger, I want to hit up these main tourist attractions so that I can tell you guys if it's worth it or not, because yeah, if you need at least 9 days if you are super crazy like us and rush through everything and plan everything. You can hit up the places, but you can't really enjoy it. So most people from the States, like when I was living in the States and I'm traveling, I only have like a week to travel. So I hope to, with this video, show you not only how great Taiwan is, but also hopefully it's like a tool where you can look at it and see which ones you would want to prioritize and go to, you know? There are certain places that even though if I ever go back, I probably won't ever go back to it again because I think it's hyped, I still would want to go to it because it's just like a thing that you have to do, you know? But some of you guys may not feel that way, and you can go to the ones that you like. Maybe you like a more chill kind of afternoon, like this. There's nobody here. We're the only people here. We didn't like have to try to find a place to look like, you know, we're the only people there. There was literally nobody here. So there are places like this. And I think Taiwan is one of the most underrated tourist destinations because maybe a lot of people think, you know, why do I need to go to Taiwan? I want to go to China, which is the original thing, but that's probably why there's not a lot of people in Taiwan. And for how beautiful and amazing the country is, how awesome the people are, how great the food is, we didn't see that many tourists. So even the most touristy attractions were pretty good actually, and well laid out. Hopefully you guys can. I would say go at least minimum 5 days, at the least.
How much did you guys spend on the trip?
So okay, let's see. We spent
For one person, for two.
we spent about $260 for the plane tickets
For two person?
for two people. Each night we spent about 30
to 40.
to $40. Did we spend like 25? No, $30 to $40 on hotels,
Uh-huh.
and that was the main bulk of the expenses. And I spent 8,000 Taiwanese dollars. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That comes $180.
1,000.
And-
So it's $30 Taiwanese dollars per dollar. So 8,000 divide that by 30.
Wait. So 120
Mm-hmm.
for ticket.
No, divide the 8,000.
Huh?
Divide that by 30. $266. But actually, $60 of that was outlet shopping. $40 was on the Japanese jersey. So I would say $200 for eating food. Like we were super stuffed, full, just eating food everywhere, drinking like bubble tea 3-4 times a day. So we spent about $200 for 10 days plus
$25 per day.
so that's about okay, no, that's per day. So we spent about $25 per day on food, 35 on food and transportation, and then $35 average for hotel. But if you book ahead of time, you'll probably get it cheaper. We booked a week before and we paid high prices for it. And then 100 and well, the plane tickets are gonna vary depending on where you are. So yeah, 35 plus 25, $60 a day. But I could definitely tell you that you don't even have to spend that much. 25 seems a lot. Did I really spend that much? But you'll see that what we do is pretty extreme. We travel to we do like twice as much as what an average tourist would do on a day.
Mm.
So that's why it is on the higher end. But we don't spend that much. And we're eating like a lot, guys. We eat so much. And we're always like snacking on random ice cream or desserts, boba tea.
Street food.
You can sort of look at it this way. For like a dish, food, it's like, let's say you're eating street food or something, like a dish, like a thing that you buy for yourself. It's about $1.50 to $2 everywhere we went, even the touristy areas. When we went to the non-touristy areas, it's more like $1, but $1.50 to $2 for like food, and then we end up getting a lot of bubble tea. We drink like 4 times a day, and that's about 45 to 60 Taiwanese dollars. But we didn't spare expenses on that because we wanted to try to find the best bubble tea in Taiwan. So we would go to like the most expensive looking places where they would have probably the most peculiar, strangest kinds of bubble tea. That's why we spent a lot on bubble tea. And
Bubble tea.
yeah. And we buy stupid things because we're stupid sometimes. I buy like a Doraemon Easy Pass that's gonna be more expensive, and then I had a keychain and that fell and dropped and I lost it. That was like $10 that I lost on the first day. Anyways, guys, it's hard to explain because I myself, I wasn't keeping too much track of it. But I do know that towards the end I was budgeting a little bit more because I was spending more towards the beginning. You will see that we mention the prices for everything we buy and we do in detail in the vlogs to come. So if you guys are budget conscious, I highly recommend Taiwan. The most expensive thing you're gonna have there is lodging. And you have to be mindful that me and Mayu travel as a pair. We even actually discussed this in detail too, how we save money. Because if we travel in a pair, the lodging is cheaper, as like single bedrooms that you can share are gonna cost $30 to $40, even if you book last minute. But if you go alone, even if you're alone and you're in like a cell capsule hotel, it's gonna cost you still like $20 alone. No, like it doesn't get cheaper than $20. So if you go in a pair and then split the cost, it will really really save you. If you're like 3 guys and you guys can really grunge it out, or you don't really mind sleeping like 3 guys to a bed, or I don't know, you could really save a lot more money. But lodging was the most expensive thing. Transportation is super cheap. It's like 50 cents to $1 to go anywhere, pretty much. And food is cheap. It's like $1.50 to $2 per dish. And we just end up trying a bunch of different foods.
Yeah, there's a guy, Sean Yu. Howdy.
Howdy, what's up?
Howdy is Australian.
Howdy is southern.
Yeah.
Yeah, southern. He's a southern guy. All right, I'm gonna actually rotate this. Yay! I can rotate it now, guys. We are at 42 minutes. All right. The resolution's not gonna be as good, but no more picture viewing, so I will just answer your questions if you have any and wrap up. Howdy! Did you guys go to Maple Tree House in Taiwan? Well, no. Which one is that?
What is that?
We didn't know about that.
Maple Tree.
Maple Tree House, yeah. There's a ton of places though that we couldn't go to. One particular place I really wanted to go to is a national park that's a volcano, and we didn't get to go to that. Yangmingshan National Park, I believe.
Maple Tree House, if I go where is it?
How many days would you recommend to spend time in Taiwan? Oh, that was TQ. Hey, TQ. I've been to many of those places too. Nice to see your experiences. Great. You live in looks awesome.
Maple Tree House in Taiwan,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
Mayu.
Korean.
Most arguments been caught. Do you still stay?
Korean barbecue place.
Oh, Maple Tree House is a Korean barbecue place.
No.
No, we didn't.
We never have any other food.
Who is
except
Mayu? Mayu.
This is Mayu. Like he noticed it though. I'm like after that.
Oh yeah? You not so much. Focus on Mayu pics first for thumbnails. Selfies are a must. Was it cheaper? Okay. How was the food? Yeah.
Maple Tree House is from Korea, I guess, because it's hit up like Gangnam Itaewon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You need to go back to hit Maple Tree House. Oh, the sound is better now. Oh, maybe it's the front-facing camera is doing something where the sound is better. What credit card do I use? I actually used to use Citibank one. I forgot what benefits it had, but it was definitely better. But it had a $100 annual fee, so I had to cancel it after a year, so I don't get charged with that. And then now I use Capital One. Capital One is probably the one that most people. It's like the easiest one to qualify for, but all Capital One cards shouldn't have like a foreign currency transaction fee, so that's the one I use. Otherwise, most of the credit cards, if you read the fine print, you're gonna have to pay like an extra 3% for purchasing something in a foreign currency. So definitely check with your bank if they have foreign currency conversion fees. Other than that, you guys just use whichever one gives you the best points. He's from LA too. Yeah, I'm from LA. Technically Orange County, but now I'm based out of. Oh, ni hao. All right.
I vacation in Taiwan for a month. I suggest staying as long as you can. Minimum 2 weeks would be best. Yeah. Yeah, guys, if you could literally, I could live there. We talked about it.
Housing is expensive.
But Mayu says somehow I feel like it's just so expensive. We talk about it in a vlog, but I feel like Mayu misread a 0. You know? Did you like?
I like Taiwan better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Taiwan is definitely better than Phuket, but
Book is too more touristy.
yeah.
No, I don't speak Hokkien. No.
But it's everyone has their own preference, you know. If you're from like England, where it's a little foggy and hazy all the time, then Phuket is gonna be paradise to you. But I'm from California. I'm right by the beach, so you know, be aware of that. There's a relative thing to that. But Taiwan has beautiful beaches too. So we didn't go to them because we see beaches all the time. But Taiwan is great if you want to see like culture, like really old Chinese kinds of architecture, Chinese food. It's great.
Hello, living in
Hey,
Greeting from England. Hello, England. Hello, England.
that's great. I like my English viewers as I don't have that many. I value them.
Oh.
And I really, really appreciate that you check out my channel, even though I've never been to England, so you know I can only relate to England so much. England is depressing. I do keep hearing that England is depressing for people who live there, but
Give me English accent. Yeah. Go ahead. I know you try the best. To
no,
speak, like,
I don't want to offend.
English.
I don't want to offend English people with my crap English accent. Yeah.
Well, you stayed to do that. Sunshine.
I was gonna do a Sean Connery accent,
Oh.
but I don't even know what to say.
Let's see.
What should I say?
Why you say shame?
That's a Sean Connery accent.
Let's see what people say about your accent.
My Sean Connery accent isn't that great. It's horrible, guys. I don't want to offend English people by saying that this is English because it doesn't sound English at all. I'm so American. My American accent just kills it.
English and Japanese both from Ireland. Yes, we are Islander.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But guys, one of the places I really, really, really want to go is England. It's just that England is so damn expensive, I hear, so I can't go. But you know, a lot of you guys know I'm a Manchester United fan. I have to go. Austin Power. I forgot that movie. I just know this. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just know that.
Austin Power.
Yeah, I know. I heard the mini me passed away.
Yeah.
I shouldn't disrespect them. Yes. Honor the dead.
Don't get serious. Suddenly get serious. Oh yeah, he just
Yes.
passed away, I guess. Yeah,
I heard
saw that news.
I heard he passed away, which is sad because I like Mini Me. Mini Me was my hero. Yes. But yes. Yeah.
England.
Hey.
Justin.
What's up, Justin? Why are you up so late?
You had a
By the way, guys, the reason I didn't stream on Wednesday for my, usual Patreons know that I generally stream on Wednesday, is because I was, busy editing vlogs, meeting up with Justin. So Justin is one of my Patreons. Little drunk still out.
You really enjoy Bangkok. Yeah.
Justin is one of my Patreons. He's out in Bangkok having a life. He's probably with the other vloggers. Yeah, Pat. Hey, Justin, by the way, Pat is actually in town. He's in Nonthaburi. So we said we will all meet up. Pat, you, and me. the usual Patreon live stream group, and
There's one
we'll do a
from
live
Canada.
stream together.
He's
Or-
from Toronto. It's
Hey, from
Canada.
Toronto. Hey, what's up? Love my Canadian subscribers. I strangely have a lot of Canadian subscribers. Appreciate. Canadians are the nicest people in the world. So,
that is offended some people, I guess.
Canadians are so nice. It's like,
Sean Connery's favorite time to go to.
what's Sean Connery's favorite time to go to Wimbledon?
I'm lost in Ceylon.
Now I'm lost in Ceylon, but I'm happy drunk.
Tennis.
Tennis. I like it. I like Sean Connery, guys. I think one of my favorite action movies was The Rock.
Yeah, it was good.
See ya. Any questions, guys? Any questions? I guess we're going into tangents with. By the way, I'm doing I'm going to discuss Asia live series again, but this time I'm switching it to the Saturday time slot, and you will see it's about buying a condo out here. Hope you guys enjoy it. I hope all of you guys comment and let me know what you think about it, because I actually spent a lot of time editing this Discuss Asia live series because I've had complaints that I don't edit it.
How do I get back to so to catch a taxi, grab taxi, yeah.
Grab a taxi.
Pay 200 baht.
Yeah.
Aw.
Justin. Did you open a Thai bank account? Do you guys know Justin? Because Justin actually just is going through the process of opening a Thai bank account. Me and Maya have already opened a Thai bank account, and I
just
feel
opened 4 account right now.
using and I feel that our experiences opening a Thai bank account is not as relevant to you guys, because I opened it when I was buying a condo, and I'm thinking maybe because of that there are some criteria that I didn't have to meet. But Justin, one of my subscribers, has a YouTube channel. I will be doing a vlog with him or a live stream with him, so I will link you guys to that. But he will be doing a video on how to open a bank account as a tourist. So you guys will know, because I've heard and I knew, but I haven't done it myself. But even as a tourist without a work permit, you can open a bank account without buying life insurance, none of that. And Justin is doing it right, so he's gonna do a video on it. I'll link you guys to it when that happens. So yes, but yeah.
He responded very fast.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see Just Living That Thai Life. You can click on him and subscribe to him. And wait for opening the bank account video, which will soon happen if you guys are interested. All right. Are we all done?
Mm-hmm.
Are we done with the comments?
Mm-hmm.
Maya, can you do an impersonation? What's your best impersonation? Oh, I didn't hear this. From Kelowna, British Columbia. I don't know where Kelowna is, but I imagine it is amazing because it's in British Columbia. What's up, Jason? Hey, you know what? Jason, I believe he's one of my new Patreons. I feel like I know this thumbnail right here. But yes. What? You are nice. Oh, you are nice too. Thank you.
Maybe he mentioned it. Me. No.
Thanks, mate. First video on YouTube this Sunday.
Oh.
Does Mayu go to work
Boom.
visa route to stay in Thailand? Go to work visa route. Yeah, Mayu.
Is that wrong, you mean? Huh?
Well, basically, me and Mayu, we work legally.
Yeah.
So we have a visa.
Mm.
So Mayu is Japanese. Japanese people can find jobs really easily out here in Thailand because tons of Japanese tourists, and Japanese people are pretty racist actually because they want to deal with other Japanese. So at the hotel industry, she is in demand. They want a Japanese speaker. Not too many Thais learn Japanese either, I think. Yeah. So Thais are learning English. So yeah, being a Japanese speaker, she can get a job easily. And being American with a college degree, you could find a job quite easily being an English teacher. It doesn't pay well at all, but it's definitely a way you can get a work permit so you can stay. Yeah. That's why I'm hoping eventually I can grow the channel enough where I make, I don't have to make a lot because I really don't make a lot already. And then I could just quit my English teaching job and just be traveling and vlogging for you guys full time.
Interesting. Signing out now.
Okay, just found another bar. Catch you later, guys. The night is still young.
Enjoy.
Alright, Justin.
Enjoy.
Alright, so, hey, has Mayu ever shared why she is living in Thailand, or is that too personal? Mayu's living in Thailand because of me. No, I don't think Mayu has. Mayu, you should speak. I speak a lot. I know why, but you should say, why do you live in Thailand?
I like Thai culture. I have been living in Thailand almost 10 years now, and life and my work balance and my personal life is very well balanced in Thailand. But I don't think it's gonna be happening in Japan. That's why I'm in Thailand, and I really like it. Mayu, do you have family there? No, I don't have any family. He's the
No, I think he's talking about Japan. Of course she has family in Japan.
In Japan, yes, I have a family. All my family in Japan. None of them in Thailand. Because some Japanese students, oh, your family living in Thailand. That's why you're working here.
Oh, in Thailand. He's saying Thailand.
Yeah. No, I don't have any.
No family in Thailand.
Yeah.
Agoda is hiring in Thailand. Yeah, actually, I had one of my buddies. He's actually from British Columbia, Canada. He used to work at Agoda, but for whatever reason, he doesn't work there anymore, and he teaches English online. So Agoda might not be the best place to work for. Who knows? He was like a computer engineer or something.
Yeah, they have a lot like Booking.com, Agoda, because I work for hotel. Those agents have a hub in Thailand.
Yeah.
I mean, booking, what is it called? The call center. And
Guys, there's actually a lot of international companies out here. I would say half of them though, it's like they get appointed from back in the States or Europe or wherever, and then they transfer them here. There are even a lot of interns, that's probably the best way if you are interested in working out here. Try to work for like an international company or look for job postings back home where it's for a job here in Bangkok. If you start a business in Thailand, it is easier to get a visa, longer than a year. If you start a business,
I'm sure I have read a lot of articles in Japanese though that it's from the very small capital. You can start a business here.
yeah, you can. I'm not gonna comment too much about it though, but when it gets to business, it gets very tricky, guys. Kelowna is beautiful. It's in Western Canada in mid-British Columbia. Yeah, British Columbia is in the west. It must be. It's in the Rocky Mountain ranges. Between Vancouver and Calgary, many people like to vacation here.
I've been to Vancouver before.
Yes.
First country I've been in my life. I mean, the first time was in Canada, Vancouver. Born. It was really
But yeah,
nice.
guys, as far as opening a business here, you can. I've also heard a lot of people say that I personally don't have this much money, but I know if you have 8-9 million, I don't know what it is, but if you have a lot of money, you don't even necessarily have to do a business per se. You can just like invest in Thailand, like in Thai stock markets or whatever. And I like that's a way that people also buy houses. Like they buy it under a business name. Like it gets quite complex. And I heard Americans can own a business, whereas like other countries can't. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but it gets very complex when you get into business. I generally don't. I plan on not doing business in Thailand because um, it it's a little different out here with business when it gets to business. I think a lot of the people who have like very extremely bad experiences out here are the people who do business because there's a lot more pitfalls in business, right? So the business culture is much different out here. The way business is handled, especially like as an American, you'll probably find some things that are amazing out here. And if you don't know how to navigate the system, or you're far too like ethical and by the line kind of person, you're probably not going to be successful doing business in Asia. So, yeah, I would only if you are asking questions about business, you probably shouldn't be doing business out here. The people who should be would be doing business out here have been out here long enough and know enough people in high ranking places and have enough connections where they would know if they should do business or not. You should not like come out to Asia and think, I want to do business just because, and think you can do it the same way you do it in the States. Because I'm not saying this is just Thailand. It's very different everywhere in Asia how business is done. So it's very tricky. I highly recommend that I do know a little bit about it, but you don't even take my word for it because business is tricky, guys. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to be responsible for you guys investing all your life savings and losing it and having the worst stories. My wife and I will be visiting Bangkok in Feb.
Oh.
If you guys happen to be in town then, we'd love to take you guys out for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We definitely try to meet up with any subscriber who is out here. We'll probably be in Thailand, but if we're busy, we can't. But we generally make time.
February.
Yeah. So I never want to like guarantee anything because things happen. We might just all of a sudden end up being on a trip or something, but we generally meet up with all the subscribers. And especially and the Patreons, I will like go out of my way to meet them. Yeah, way out of my way. Yeah, so yes, if you're a subscriber or Patreon, just hit me up. I'm meeting up with subscribers and Patreons all the time. Like, if you're a Patreon, I'll meet you like every day almost. Justin, I met like twice already. Okay, let's see. Any suggestions for investments in Thailand? I do not want to advise you guys on investments in Thailand. For every like advice I have, there's gonna be, just as many reasons to not do it. It really depends on your risk adversity. I myself personally bought a very cheap low-end condo, and I feel that is my exposure to Thailand is big enough already. But I'm super risk adverse, guys. So, why do I like a condo? Because I can use it. Even if it doesn't make money, I could at least use it for myself. Hello, buddy. I missed out on most of the live stream. How are you and your other half? We're doing great. We just had an amazing time in Taiwan. This will go public, and then you can rewatch it. You can see everything we did there. We just been very, very busy, and we haven't been able to do live streams on a regular basis, or at times that aren't like midnight or in the middle of the night in America, because it's just how time zone differences are, and we were in Taiwan just moving from place to place. So we wanted to do a live stream like really late here, which is actually great for me because I'm probably the most wide awake at this time. to chat with you guys. So let us, comment away. An interview of owner of Nana Plaza. His advice was not to do motorbike in Thailand because he tried to go into funeral. That was an article from. He tired of going to funerals. That was an article in Stickman. Cool, I understand. Yeah, guys. I mean, riding a motorcycle in Thailand is not that safe. But it's up to risk aversity, guys. Again, in Bangkok, if you're actually here, you'll see that you're basically driving through parked cars. That's why I drive here, because I live in like literally the center of Bangkok where traffic is horrendous. So even if I do get in an accident, it'll probably be in a very low speed like accident, and I'm comfortable enough with that. I will say though, in the very beginning, I was super risk averse to riding a motorcycle for 2 years, right, in middle of Bangkok, and then I ended up getting a scooter just to go to the grocery store, which is like 15 meters away, just for the convenience. And then after I got comfortable with it, I started riding it. But this is generally the same story you'll hear from everybody who rides a scooter out here. So I remember that person telling me the same thing when I suggested, isn't it super dangerous, blah, blah, blah. How do you deal with the insurance, medical, like, guys, trust me, I had the same question, so I know. And I know no matter what I say, you're not going to believe it. So, because I was like that too, and think it's crazy driving a motorcycle out here. But, just don't worry too much about it unless you're actually out here. When you're out here and you've been living here for like 2 years like I have, and you're like, you know what, maybe I should just get a scooter to go 50 meters down the road so I can get my groceries instead of paying, $2 each way, so like $4 just to go get groceries, and then and let me just get a $500 motorcycle, and then you end up driving it everywhere, and then realizing this is what everybody said I would do, and I really am doing it. that's when you'll understand what I'm saying. It's just how comfortable you end up getting. But I would say I would probably be more risk. I'm not as risk averse to certain things as most Americans are. And I know that because I was an American before living in America. So once I came out here, I became super like less risk averse. So that's something I can't describe or explain to you. It's a long process of interpersonal change, and I came out here with the decision that I would rather live short and experience a lot of things than just live a long, like, boring life, just 9 to 5, seeing the same thing, going to the same restaurants, same fast food chain stores, once in a while spoiling myself at a decent restaurant that I like. That's the choice I made when I came out to Thailand. So some people cannot relate to me, and I completely understand because I was in your situation too. And you would have to have like some extreme interpersonal like motivations and situations like I have to end up in the situation I am and think the same things I do, which I don't expect the average person to do. So having been an average person myself, so yeah, that's all I can say about that. Like rambling on. Cool, I understand. Cool, Larry. What's up, Larry? I definitely know this guy. I chant to myself while writing. Right is
Larry's like,
hola.
hola.
Do you still invest in the U.S.? I should, but I don't. I have my 401k. I used to have it like just in some index funds, and I took it out because, it's just actually most of my investment banker friends have taken out most of most of their yeah holdings. It's just we believe this there should be a correction, but who knows? The correction was supposed to have happened years ago, and it still hasn't happened. So it could still it's a crazy world. I can't really advise you guys on investments because I tend to be super risk averse. I'm the idiot that holds everything in cash so I don't lose money, and then I lose money because I could have probably doubled that money by investing. Which is pretty bad, being that I used to be a banker, a brokerage associate. So I would give better advice, and I know what is the right thing to do, but I'm so risk averse that I wouldn't even invest myself, you know? And if I took the advice that I gave other people, I would have made so much more money. But that's sort of your typical banker. A lot of bankers are like that. We're so busy like taking care of other people's accounts. I used to have like coworkers who were bankers, and they would overdraw their bank accounts all the time. They don't even know how much money they have in their own bank accounts because they're so busy just helping other people deal with their issues, you know? So that was me. But I feel like, yeah, I at least I don't lose money. I'm relatively okay. Um, can you share the dating life in Thailand? I'm an Asian male in America, and it feels really tough here, even with dating app. Any suggestions? Good for you, Ethan. This is the longest bull cycle. Time in the market, overtiming the market. Yeah, you cannot. But everyone tell you cannot time the market though. And I when I left in 2014, I thought there should be a correction, but there isn't a correction, and everyone knows the longer the correction, like the correction should just happen, but it's not. So now it just gets worse because there's a bigger correction to happen. The bubble is just bigger. As far as dating advice, my dating advice is to not, in my experience, when you come out here, don't assume you know anything. Like, just take it easy. Just take your time, meet a lot of girls, just be friends first with a lot of different girls, and just don't get too serious too fast. That would be my best dating advice for Thailand, because all the horror stories you'll hear are people who just come out here, meet the girl of their dreams, and assume way too many things, and get married and assume, like things are gonna be like this, and it's not. The culture is very different out here, so it just takes time for you to understand, And I would go a little further to say, don't be respectful. This is all relative because some people are very disrespectful, but someone like me, I was maybe overly respectful, to girls. So what ends up happening is you don't really speak your mind, and you just end up doing only what the girl wants to do, and then this is difficult. Dating advice, I could do. I'd rather
open another channel for the dating advice.
yeah. Dating advice is something I should probably. I'm very candid about dating advice. I have to do it like anonymous. I don't want to. I'll just keep it simple. Just don't be that guy that comes out here and marries the first girl you meet. Don't be that person. There's a lot to learn about the culture out here. It's not about just dating. It's about living in Asia, learning the culture. Come out here, take it easy, learn the culture, understand things before you jump into big commitments. And being a most I think Americans particularly are more naive. Like we're very idealistical. We tend to like always think too positive, and we end up being very naive and getting screwed over a lot. And not everyone's like that, you know. Some people are just douchebags and, you know, disrespectful people, but I'm speaking to those people who are just maybe like me, like maybe too respectful, giving people too much benefit of the doubt, and you end up hurting yourself. So just take it easy in the beginning. Don't try to like find your wife or whatever. Just come out here, like meet people, be friends, like literally be friends, not like friends with benefits. Like be friends, learn the culture, and your eyes will start opening. There's like a whole new world. Yeah, and then things will make more sense. And then you can find Ethan out here in Bangkok, and then I'll speak more offline about my experiences.
Oh,
uh, bull market is about 10 years now, and I heard Australia is going on 25 years bull market, but I didn't research that yet. Yeah, and China is big too. The bubble in China. Oh my gosh, property. Everything is. I don't even want to think about it. So, what happened to your first Thai girlfriend? My first Thai girlfriend? It's hard to say because my first Thai girlfriend, we don't really say we're girlfriends, boyfriend like that, but you sort of were. So, who is my first Thai girlfriend, you know? I can't really even say. Yeah. There was a very interesting story though. I will tell you this. I'll give you one experience I had with a Thai girlfriend. One Thai girl I met. This was after I met a couple girls by this time. I was like maybe 6 months into living in Thailand, and I was on Tinder. But actually, I met this girl. I think I saw her at a club, just sitting out in the smoking area. She wasn't smoking, but I think her friends were just doing something inside, and she was just tired. She's not. She didn't seem like the party type, right? And I don't know. Back then, I was sort of into that. Like, I want like a good girl, right? That's not into party type, but so I was like, oh, what's your name? And then we started talking, and then she seemed to like me, and then we set up like this meeting. I met her. She was a great girl, like beautiful, good job, you know, seemed nice, all around nice. And here I am, you know, the foreigner guy, the American, you know, so like apparently I'm the naughty guy. So I remember her always being concerned that I'm meeting other girls, you know. This is a common insecurity that I think a lot of girls have. But it's more prevalent out here in Asia, I think. Like it almost feels like Thai girls expect that every guy is always cheating or something. I'm like, why do you think I'm meeting another girl? You know, I really like you. And then the most baffling thing happened. I only met her maybe 2 months, so it's not a big deal. Maybe 2 months or 3 months. But I was really into this girl. And then I go to Korea because my uncle had a stroke, so it was like an emergency. I had to go be with him, you know. Um, and when I'm there, she tells me, you know, I actually didn't really break up with my boyfriend. My boyfriend was like somewhere in Indonesia or something. I forgot. But he's come back and he wants to be with me or something. And I can't be with you or something like that. And that was the most shocking thing to me because this whole time she would always check my phone and suspect that I'm like talking to other girls or whatever, but I was super duper loyal. Like I would say, yeah, look at my phone, you know? I'm not cheating. I'm not meeting any other girls. And I was always like made to feel like I was like a playboy or something. And this whole time she had this boyfriend and she never even told me that she did. She lied about it. Oh, the moral of this story isn't that all Thai girls are like this. First of all, I want to make sure I tell you that. But because I've actually come across I I've probably come across, you know, more I not probably, I'm certain I came across more girls who are more ethical and loyal. Um, and I have great experiences dating Thai girls. I like Thai girls. I would date a Thai girl, Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna date a Thai girl over an American girl or anything. I don't want to pit anyone against anybody, but I have utmost respect for Thai girls. I love Thai girls. They're fun, but there will be experiences like this where you just sometimes, assume things. So just don't assume things. That's what it is. That's my advice to you. Mayu, you have more than one boyfriend too? Americans live in a bubble. That's true. TQ knows because she knows about Thailand. Americans are
she?
not worldly. Yeah,
Yeah.
TQ.
Is that she or he?
She's Thai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just sign up for your Patreon. Keep up. Oh, appreciate it.
Mm,
Don't be chowderhead. Actually, I don't know what chowderhead is. So what happened to your first Thai girlfriend? Okay. We're right into that. Oh, now I really want to hear about the first Thai girlfriend. So I told you about it, but she wasn't. I guess I don't know. Anyways,
you end up leaving ambiguously like that.
after that situation, I was so heartbroken. What did I do?
Yeah, play around
Anyway.
so hardcore. Yeah, I know. Without telling.
I was disillusioned, and then I was the bad guy, and then I met Mayu, and then she made me into a good guy. Mayu has more than one boyfriend too? Probably. I don't even want to know. I don't even ask her.
You don't need to even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'm afraid she has another boyfriend.
$100. Boom.
Oh, TQ's Thai American.
Oh,
Okay. I for some reason I thought she was fully Thai. He was commenting about the other poster, not you being a chowder. Oh, sorry. Mayu saved you. Yes, Mayu did save me. It's yeah, she like sort of grounds me, you know? There's a balance, I think. You know what? It's very hard to find balanced people having balanced dating lives out here. It feels like one bad situation like that, like I had, will turn a guy completely bitter against every girl, and it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and then assume every girl is a bad girl, and then or just never wants to get hurt, so just never really commits, or the person is just super nice, naive, and just is like the ATM machine guy. So I see that it's hard to find someone who is balanced, but I think it's all relative. Maybe I think I'm balanced, but to another person's life, maybe I'm like maybe too nice, or maybe I'm not nice enough. Who knows? It's all relative to the person, so you can't really judge. That's why I just say I can't really give you dating advice. It's all relative to your ethics, your way you don't know. I can't convince somebody this is the way you should date and this is how you should think about life. Some people have very strong beliefs. This is how you should treat women, or this is how a relationship should always be. This is always the role of a man. So the best advice I can say is come here with an open mind and meet as many not only girls but guys, and just get to know the culture.
Lady boys.
Yeah, and then make the decision for yourself. Lady boys, no, don't. You don't have to meet lady boys. Explain the term get. Oh, I'm not sure. Explain the term get. He was commenting about the other person. Get. I'm not sure. Message restricted. I'm not sure what was restricted. I remember that you want to concentrate on producing vlogs. If you quit your teaching job, how can you stay in Thailand without a work visa? Like, well, what happened with TQ? TQ was hidden by... I hid her? How did I hide her? What?
Unhide user this child.
Oh, whoops. I accidentally double tapped on it and hid you, TQ. I'm sorry. Hold on, what's going on? How can I unhide her again?
No, you can go back.
I didn't
later.
even know you could hide users on this. Jeez.
Okay, so
Oh,
all
okay.
the post that
What happened? The TQ was unhidden by Live Travel Asia. Oh, okay, that's good. TQ deletes all his chats. You don't like to leave a record, do you? What? I don't
no,
understand.
because you delete it without telling the people, so people assume that the TQ delete by herself,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you are the.
I deleted my text. Oh, TQ did it. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but I think I accidentally hit TQ by accident because I like clicked on it. I didn't realize there's like an option that comes up, and I thought I was canceling, and I hit her, and I'm like, what's going on? No, TQ didn't necessarily say something bad. Actually, I don't know. I haven't really read anything. But anyways, guys, do you feel that expats make good friends, or do they turn out to be kind of weird and or not trustworthy?
It depends. It depends. It depends. I found the best friend. I mean, apart from Japanese society in Thailand, because she had a similar experience, and we had a common interest, and then we are same age. Yeah, that is my Chinese friend. Yeah, she is one of my best friend out here. She's not here anymore. She moved to another country, but yeah, I can say that she's one of my best friend that I met in Thailand and in Bangkok.
Yeah. Mayu doesn't have a lot of friends though.
Yeah, that's true.
What can I say, guys? I think expats make great friends. Yeah, I'm personally friends with a lot of expats. I'm particularly friends with a lot of vloggers too, and old guys.
You used to have those party guys, but you are not a party person that much, so you don't really.
Well, those guys aren't party people anymore. Now they're into like cryptocurrency and stuff like that. But yeah, it all depends on your interests. But when your interests are like going to bars and clubbing,
The one guys are less weird.
you're gonna probably end up having more lower end, untrustworthy friends. But you should also know that comes with the territory. Paranoid. What? That's very cool. Some expats are like the people you are in line with at the DMV. Avoid. Do I hear America is gonna be weird? That's a good question. Are the old guys less weird? What is weird? It's very hard to relate, right? I will say though, I tend to sort of get along better with slightly older people than I am. It's just because I was brought up in a probably more conservative culture. I generally have hung out with older people, so I'm more direct in the way I talk. I'm less politically correct, and I can accept people who are less politically correct, right? And it's just sort of suffocating for me to have friends where I have to play that whole millennial, like, try to be politically correct with everything kind of role. It's very, that's just not how I am. I try to be very politically correct on my channel as to not offend people because I am understanding of that, being a millennial, but I myself prefer not to be politically correct. So I like to hang out with guys who just say like the worst things or whatever because I know that they don't necessarily mean it, So I tend to get along with older people, but then there's some old guys who are super like, how do you say, like
Extreme.
like super bitter and angry. And
Oh yeah.
and you do come across some of those. This is just, it's a common thing in any expat society, not just in Thailand, but anywhere you go. There are people, there's actually like a science to it. People in the very beginning are always like, when they go to a new country, something is new, they're all googly eyed, they're very excited, they love it, you know? They're all out there trying street food, blah, 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 blah. And then you go through another phase where you start realizing the culture and how different it is. And
You start hating it.
and then they start hating it,
Mm.
right? But it's minor, it's just like inconvenient. But then from this point, expats take two paths. One is they start sort of accepting the culture here and fit in and adapt, right? And they are relatively happy with their life. Now, those are the kinds of people that I tend to get along with, right? But then there's a lot of people, every time you meet them, they're just talking about something negative. Those are the kinds of people I tend to not get along with. Because to me, it's like, we all know that they're negatives, right? But these are obvious negatives that you just sort of have to accept living out here, you know? But then you also know that these negatives are the same reasons why they're the positives. And those positives are the reasons why these people are living out here. So like, you know, like if I'm talking to someone offline and they're being negative, I'm like, well, if you don't like Thailand, then why don't you just leave, you know? And they can't say anything to that because they're obviously in Thailand because they like it, right? You have to sometimes deal with the negatives. And it's fine to acknowledge it, that there are some negative aspects of living in a certain country because it's different. It's not necessarily even negative, it's just different. But why are you like resisting and like trying to argue like the moral reasons for why? So I guess this comes to a person's ideals. Like some people are just, they see the world in black and white. There is something is either always right or wrong. That's how some people see the world. But like philosophically, the way I see the world is, I see everything as a balance of, you know, good and evil. Like it's yin and yang, that concept, right? You need a certain amount of this to balance out. There is no right or wrong. I just feel everything is relative. So that's probably why also when I start talking or trying to explain like a certain situation, I tend to talk a long time because I have to explain all the reasoning behind it, and this is the balance, and this is how I perceive it, and this is why I think this way. That's the only way I can explain something. I cannot tell you that something is right or wrong because it's all relative to a person's experience, you know? Like, I don't like to argue about something like ethical because yeah. I could always argue against any absolute. Nice explanation. Ugh, gosh, I hope I didn't bore you guys with this. Are you guys there are only one vlogger I know near your age working in Thailand. One other vlogger that I know, sorry. The other vlogger in Bangkok, Balness, and he's got married by Thai national and has a baby now. Exactly, great video, brother. Nice explanation. Exactly. They don't like Thailand's culture. They should go back to where they came from. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically, generally, you'll see a lot of the complaints that people have about Thailand is in regards to the very relaxed culture out here. The culture out here is relaxed.
This is positive.
This you could see that as a positive or a negative.
Yeah.
If you keep seeing
You
it
have
as a
to
negative,
say
your
it,
life is
yeah.
gonna be miserable, and you're just
Hard.
you're just spreading negativity to other people. When
Yeah.
I'm out here enjoying the fact that it's relaxed. That's why I'm out here. I didn't like how in the States, I'm not saying the States is bad. God bless America. I'm American, right? I was in the military. I've literally bled and I will bleed for my country. I believe in America's ideals. But I will say living there is hard because everything is so darn like to the rules, you know? Like there's just more rules. You'll realize that Americans have more rules and laws than any other country in the world. And you're always living in like this like society that just like squeezes every little bit of energy out of you. Just the way I am. I'm from you go to work. You can't say what's on your mind. You know, you just gotta sort of toe the line. The only thing you can do is go home and watch like a violent movie or play some violent video games because that's the only time you can do something wrong and not be accused of it. You know, wrongdoing. That's the only way you can have an outlet to like express like the anger of the rigorous system there. We're always like so naive and by the rule, right? Um, but out here things are relaxed, right? Like, so what does that mean? So if people are relaxed and your boss treats you with a lot more, you know, leeway and a little bit more patience, then are people gonna like if you go to 7-Eleven, are you gonna sometimes see like kids looking at their cell phone if they're working there? Yeah, probably because your boss isn't gonna be on you like, why are you looking at your cell phone at work kind of thing, right? Which I'm not saying is wrong or right or wrong. I'm not arguing about whether or not it's right or wrong. But overall, in the big picture, I like the relaxed culture. And with the relaxed culture comes some negatives or inconveniences, which is when I go to 7-Eleven, sometimes I don't get as fast of a service as I would in other countries where the culture isn't relaxed. But if the culture was rigorous, then it would be exactly like America or Korea. And why would I want to live here then? You know, the whole reason I like living out in Thailand is things are relaxed. So whenever I see things like that, I'm always trying to mentally think, why is something like this? What is the big picture behind it? You know, and after having lived here for like few years and thinking about these things, I've come to accept the level of the culture out here, and I've come to appreciate it and like the culture and the kind of living environment that it has created. So that's why I live out here. And if you like living out here, why are you focusing on the negatives and complaining about it? You know, when there's just more positives. That's why you're living out here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the easiest way I can explain, you know, negative people and positive people out here. It's not negative or positive. It's like, yeah, some people are just too idealistic, like. And the older you get, I think the more you have like these ideals, like
Stubborn.
something should be a certain way. So
Hard.
that's when I have issues with those kinds of people. But if they're pretty open minded, like one of the most open minded people are older people. Like you see him in my other vlog, like Warren. That guy's probably like the most open minded person I know. He's much older than I am. So it has nothing to do with age. Some people just are open minded. Some people aren't. And actually, a lot of young people are not open-minded. I would say they're just super politically correct nowadays, so it's hard to relate to them. I sometimes don't really like very young kids either. I can't relate to them. And the other thing I want to mention is the reason why it seems like it's hard to get a visa out here is, unfortunately, the people who vlog are the people who don't really have much to do. Yeah. People who vlog are people who don't really have much to do. They're not working. So you have like this unfair representation of people, expats that aren't working on YouTube. You'll see most of them are like retired or just digital nomads or people who just don't work. They're like rich, you know, rich kids that just travel everywhere. And, you know, vegan diet, like those guys, right? And that's because those are the people who have time to vlog, right? Not many people who are working out here have time to vlog. They're working full time. I actually work, but I work part time, so it gives me at least a little bit of time to make vlogs. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I enjoy. This is my hobby. I wanted to pursue photography. I like tinkering with tech. I like camera. This is something I've always wanted to do, but I never had the time to do when I was in the States because I was just too busy with my career. So that's why I would probably be the rare case. But I would say it's like it surprises me like how so many people think it's so hard to get a visa out here that, you know, people aren't really working. But I'm sure there are people with their own individual circumstances, but to me, I feel that it is quite. If you really wanted to work and get a work permit in Thailand, it should be easy, especially if you're American and you have a college degree, right? Something you have to be aware of. 45% of my viewers are American. Another 10 are Canadian. But something I've found out is, okay, this sort of has to do with do expats make good friends. Um, Being friends with somebody or me being like a very close friend with someone has nothing to do with whether or not that person is good or not. There are lots of great people, but sometimes the culture doesn't work, right? I just talked a long time about I like being less politically correct, but when I talk to, like, for example, English people are very blunt and they have a very sarcastic humor, and that's just their culture. To me, even though I'm like probably the less politically correct American, to me that's very politically incorrect, like their kind of humor. And it takes a while to get used to it. And even after I get used to it, it's not something I prefer, right? So I tend not to hang out with
British.
a lot of British people. But then I will say some of the like most politically correct British people are also my friends. So I guess it depends on what region they're from, etc. But why was I talking about that? This was gonna lead to something. It had nothing to do with British, but I wanted to say this, and this was, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought, guys. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, you're just gonna end up being friends with who you prefer being with, and sometimes I feel like I can relate to Thais better because Thais are generally very positive, party, happy-go-lucky type of culture people. So you might find that you get along with just locals. So to an American, I think Thai culture is very close. It's almost just as closely related to us as British culture. Yeah, I mean there's similarities, but there's extremes in America too, though. But if you're the type of guy that just likes to enjoy, not really think much and argue about politics and stuff, you'll find that you'll probably get along better with the locals. And if you're the kind of person that always wants to talk about the latest news, what Donald Trump's done, blah blah blah, then you might get along more with the Europeans out here. But yeah, be aware that my point. Okay, this was my point. It's all relative to where you're from. So I know most of my viewers are American, so that's why I'm saying this. Just because you are American with English, genetic heritage, don't think that you have more things in common with a British person as opposed to a Thai or Korean or whatever. You'll find that Americans are very unique in this world. Yeah, it's Americans are living in this box and they believe they're probably the most open-minded, worldly people because we live in a diverse country with many different cultures. But one thing that becomes quite apparent is that Americans are living in a box and we are probably the most random, unique culture beings in the world. And we have absolutely no idea how the world really is. So when you come out here, don't assume that just because this person looks like me or this person, has the same kind of government system as me, I'm probably gonna be similar to this person or get along with this person. That's all I'm gonna say, Just find out for yourself who you like. We Americans live in a cage. Just wait, okay. Are you comfortable with your apartment size? At first, it seems tiny to Americanize, but I can also imagine it feeling super cozy and organized, and the amenities seem many. As far as my apartment, I do mention it in the main video, but yes, trust me, when I first walked into, because my aunt has the exact same condo, right? Same floor plan and everything. I was like, is this a joke? How can they even make an apartment like this? That was I was so shocked. I was like, I was super embarrassed too because when I first came out here, I invited some other friends like, "Oh yeah, my aunt has a condo. You can stay with me," you know? And I'm like, "What the hell? This is like smaller than a hotel room."
Yeah.
But I've obviously bought the place because I found that there's some benefits to it, you know? Some benefits I don't mention is that me being American, I tend to hoard things. I like to buy things. As you see, I already have a ton of figurines, but having a small condo always like reminds me not to buy things, you know, and to try to keep things light. I like that. Also, I like not having to clean it as much. Maya actually does most of the cleaning now, but even when I was cleaning, it's a lot faster. I don't have to clean things. When I had that condo in the States, I had to garden. I had to like cut the lemon tree every week. There's a lot of maintenance that goes into it. But having a small space has its benefits. Trust me. So that's why I live in it because I've adapted to living in a small space, and something that you don't have to worry about is that if you're living in the States and living in a small space like this, your friends will judge you and go, "You live in a small space." But if you're living in Thailand and you're living in a small condo like mine, you're not going to get judged because this is normal for people out here, you know? You bring your girlfriend over or whatever, she's not going to go, "Oh, he's some poor kid living in a box." No, she's going to think, "Oh, this is a great condo. It has great amenities, blah, blah, blah. This is a normal size because this is what's normal out here." So, you don't like a lot of our perception of why we want something or we think something is good or not is bandwagoning. Other people think it's good or bad. So when you're out here, you're gonna judge the size of your condo just based on if you like it or not because other people are bandwagoning and telling you you're living in a small spot, you're a scrub, you know? So just be aware of that. I cannot comment. I can't really explain this to you. You have to be out here and living it to understand what I'm talking about. Um, do you think you'll ever move out to Taiwan?
I wish I could. I wish
Jesus.
I could.
I mean, to me, like I can see myself moving out to anywhere, you know? Seriously. But I also mentioned I'll mention it in the end, but I love traveling in Taiwan, but I still love living in Thailand. I just I come back. Mayu wanted to stay there a lot longer, and I come back to after 10 days. Just being out there in the heat, guys. Thailand is not hot at all. Thailand is not hot. Taiwan is hot AF. Like I was so hot there.
You compare April in Thailand and then summer in Taiwan.
Oh my god.
At least you can enjoy a little of winter in Taiwan.
I thought I was gonna die.
You're not gonna
I had
die.
rashes everywhere. That's how hot it gets in
Because
Taiwan.
You don't do the same activity in Thailand. If you do the same activity in Thailand, April, you got rashes everywhere.
That's possible. That's why a lot of this is biased because I live here and I live in the nice amenities and stay in the AC. So that's why I don't think it's hot. But I do remember the first time I came to Thailand and I was always just backpacking, going to islands and stuff. I thought it was hot.
Yeah.
But scientifically, Taiwan is hot. The temperature is much hotter there, and the humidity level is much hotter too.
Because
So,
of the summer now.
There is some
there.
science behind why I think Taiwan is hot as well. But yeah, guys, and just I don't know. You guys are gonna claim that I live in a nice neighborhood, so things look clean to me. You know, the internet speed is. I like the amenities. In Taiwan, like
you can get exactly the requirement you need. I mean, your requirement, you can get it.
but it would cost apparently like $1 million to get a similar size like amenities and stuff as
Yeah, it's not easy to find a new planet condo.
yeah they're like it's hard to find like good lodging in Taiwan. That's why I still like living in Thailand, but I could move out to Taiwan. The food is amazing, the sights are amazing, the people are amazing, so nice, happy, friendly people. Yeah, I think I could not even I could deal with body language and speaking English. Most people communicated relatively okay in English. You think you would ever move out? As a whole, I love Asian culture. I can't wait to go to Thailand, the land of smiles. Should I say that from the United States or possibly Canada? Here, we must have a bad rep. No, we don't have a bad rep. Thais like Americans and Canadians. Americans are open-minded, so you can enter their mind and become like them.
Become like them.
I like Thailand to escape some Americans. LOL. How many SF is your square footage? Shoot, I don't know square footage anymore, but it is either 24 or 27 square meters.
I guess 27 here, not 24.
Yeah. Um, our I used to have like a 1,300 square foot condo, and I would say this is a quarter of that size. There are people who downsize to RVs and they are super happy. Minimalists, yes. All right. Which has the better food, Thailand or Taiwan? Ooh, that's tough. This is all just gonna boil down to preference. Every Thai person will tell you that Thailand has the best food in the world. I think that's one of the main reasons that you don't see a lot of Thais immigrating out to other countries. Food is a big issue. But I personally like Taiwan. But this is hard to say because
We try all Taiwanese food. I mean, we didn't eat any other food except Japanese sushi, you know, the sashimi. And apart from that, what we had was all Taiwanese.
I'm gonna
food.
be honest with you guys. I mentioned this already, but for my regular diet, I need Korean food. I'm very Korean in that sense. Like, I need fermented food. Like, I can't have too much fried stuff. Like, it just is bad for my stomach. So Chinese food tends to be very like comfort food. Everything is like deep fried, very sugary, stuff like that. So after a while, the food started to taste a bit bland, but overall, I would say I like Taiwanese food because I like junk food. I like desserts and stuff. And probably most of the desserts and junk foods that you even have in Thailand originated originally from Taiwan, right? So Thai people have adapted it. Like bubble tea is big out here. That originally came from Taiwan. Um, the snow ice. A lot of people think Koreans are the Pingsu people, but Taiwan is the one that came up with snow ice, which is like the new thinly shaved ice style. That came from Taiwan. All the little desserts, like the different breads and like waffles, the Asian style like pastries and stuff, they're generally from Taiwan. So in that sense, Taiwan is the king of like junk food. I love it, and comfort food. And the noodles and stuff there, oh my gosh, they're so delicious. We just tried such a wide variety of stuff, and we ended up eating a lot of street food, so we ended up eating unhealthy. That's why towards the end I didn't feel good. But if I actually lived in Taiwan and knew all the good places, and I also knew like the Korean markets and everything, I am almost like 99% sure I would really, really like Taiwanese food. Oh, hey, Justin's back on. You ever want to go places to escape Thailand's hottest times? No, I don't need to because most of the times in Thailand I'm cold, believe it or not, because Thais like to blast AC everywhere. And electricity isn't that expensive out here, so even like the cheapest, dingiest hole in the wall will be blasting AC, right? So that's why, to me, maybe temperature-wise, Thailand is a hot place, but experience-wise, at least for my lifestyle, Thailand is actually a very cool place. It's cooler than even my life in California. And as a matter of fact, temperature-wise, it's still probably cooler than California. California, guys, is a desert, you know? So I lived there. When it gets hot, it's really, really hot, but it's a dry heat, so some people don't feel it as much. But yeah, I really think this is overblown that Thailand is hot. I think it might be because a lot of the tourists out here are mainly from Europe, and compared to Europe, I'm sure it's freaking hot. but you know,
They go those tourist area like
yeah,
Japan,
but
Paris, outside.
you're talking to a guy
That's hot.
who lived in Africa for 7 years, then lived in California most of his life. So I like a hot weather, you know, and I really I will say I will go to other places to escape cold weather, but I never it's hot weather I can deal with. You just turn on the AC, but cold weather, she's like 2-3 seconds out in cold weather, like in Korea. That's when I like pulled my Achilles tendon, and I couldn't walk straight. It's coldness really gets to me. So that's just me, but it's gonna depend on everybody. Um, good for you, Sam. Excited for you. Ooh, what's Sam doing? After years of living in the U.S., years of living in Paris and France, I'm moving to Thailand in 3 weeks. Oh, that's great. Hope you have an amazing time out here, man, and hit me up. Hey, what's up? Haha, on the next bar now. My missus is going to kill me. Sorry, a little drunk.
Oh,
Don't leave a record. Don't leave a record. Man, Justin, I need to teach you how to deal with social media. Be deleting the text. Use line on hidden. What is the average cost of an apartment in Bangkok? From Island, I'm thinking of moving there. If you're gonna rent, it would cost anywhere from 6,000 if you like sort of live in on with not
But
much
it's
amenities.
apartment.
Yeah,
It's apartment, not condominium.
not a condo with like a fitness center or anything. Just a simple room.
Even there's maybe no kitchen.
Yeah, sometimes they don't even have a kitchen. They just have like a stove. Sometimes.
No, even no stove, just sink. Yeah,
Just sink. But
outside.
basically, it just looks like a hotel room, right?
One room.
Yeah, it just
With a
looks like a
bathroom.
hotel room, like you're going into a hotel, but you're living in it. Those tend to be like about 6,000. I've seen people live like that cheap. And then if you want to get anywhere decent, then you're probably gonna have to pay about 9,000, which is about $300. So 200 is probably the bare minimum for anywhere near Bangkok, and then it would be $300 is like on the lower end. And when you get onto the higher end, it gets super high. But my condo personally is about it's like relatively located in the city center and next to the clubs and stuff where you'll have fun. That's $1, 2, 3, 4, like $400 or $500. 27 square meter, 290 square foot. That sounds about right. Yeah, 300 square foot. That's about an average condo size in Vancouver nowadays. Yeah, I heard it's small. But guys, the thing is, the condos out here, the way that they spaced everything out, it's very intuitive. Like, they don't waste space out here. So, that's something to keep in mind. What would rent for your apartment in your condo about an annual lease? I just mentioned, yeah. My condo right now, I see it on Hip Flats. They're listing it for about $500, but I bet you they probably only get $450 or $400. $300? Wow, it's cheap. Yeah, it's super cheap, guys. But then it's all relative because I heard somebody like I had a I'm not sure if he's a subscriber or he's just some person that just watched one of my video. He said, you know, Thailand it's crap. If you go to Idaho or something like that, you know, it's the prices are the same too. So
Idaho.
yeah, so I had nothing to say to that because that's true because I looked at like you can rent like probably an apartment like 3-4 times the size as mine in Idaho for just like twice the price. So guys, there's cheap stuff in America too, but you can't really compare that. It's not apples to apples. You're not living in the middle of the biggest, you know, metropolitan like city, like an interesting city like Bangkok in Idaho, and that's why one of my teachers from Idaho is living out here. Loves it out here, and he convinced his cousin to come out here too. If there's a specific area you would recommend moving to, I have a budget of about 500.
500 euros.
I
Only like 220.
500 will pretty much get you everywhere except
Yeah.
for maybe in the middle of
Siam
Sukhumvit
area.
or Siam. And I wouldn't recommend that you live in the middle of Sukhumvit or Siam just because the air is bad, traffic is bad, it's just loud, right?
And dirty.
And if you're gonna try to date girls, whenever you say, you know, I live in Nana or even Asok, that's like the most douchebag thing you can say. They're gonna think, oh, he's a sex tourist. You know, that's how you're gonna be perceived.
That is the offend of the people who live there. That's not good.
Yeah, that's
I
no,
have
but
some friends
a lot
living
of
Nana.
people think that, but then when I was dating girls, I remember this is what they would say. They're like, if the guy says that he lives in like Nana or something, then they're thinking, oh, he's living there because he's a playboy. And I know this because I get enough flack for living in RCA because right behind me is a bunch of clubs. So whenever like the first thing you ask is how old are you? You know, what's your ASL? But now, you know, if you're doing Tinder, they know your age, they know your sex. So they probably ask, what do you do for a living and where do you live? And they'll judge you on that. Where do you live, right? So if you say you live somewhere like in La Prau, then they're gonna think, oh, you're super local. Like only locals live in La Prau up north, right? If you
No,
say
there's a bunch of Chinese and Korean, even Japanese.
no, well now, and then let's say you say you live in Nana, then they're gonna think you're living right by the go-go bars where all the strip clubs are. Then they're not gonna think highly of you. I say if I say I live in RCA, they think I like to party and go to clubs all the time, so they didn't think highly of me. So I used to then say I live in Rama 9. So, yeah. I would actually I personally like Rama 9. It's right by the MRT. It's relatively in the city center but still away from it. And it's close to Tonglor, RCA, and Siam, if you want to get to it.
Siam, Sukhumvit.
So if you like a good nightlife, this area is good. But for convenience wise, yeah, Asok is great. You're right by where the two lines intersect. But there's not too many places to live there.
Expensive.
they're-
You have to pay like
Yeah, they're super expensive.
25, 30,000.
But I've also heard that Rama 3 is super nice. If you don't need to
local
work.
area.
If you're just retiring and you just want to be in a very nice area where, you know, it's very relatively local, very residential. There's also a central there too, Rama
Yeah.
3. And you're right by the river, so you get a
You
nice
see the
view.
yeah.
I think Rama 3 is great too. If you want like a very unique experience though, the hipster areas are like now there's a bunch of areas near, yeah, Ari, which is on the we're here. If you go the opposite way there, Ari is the new hipster upcoming area. So if you're more like a millennial, you want to go to the hipster like, they say Ari is the new Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Brooklyn or the Bronx of Bangkok now. I've been Tonglor for a month and lived there. Oh, and how could I forget Tonglor? If money is not an issue for you, Tonglor is great. The only issue with Tonglor though is
Traffic is bad.
you're
And,
there's no you,
Water.
usually when you live in Tonglor, you're living up Tonglor, so you gotta deal with traffic or have a motorcycle to get to the BTS first. But the neighborhood itself is super residential. It's like a nice area. The other issue is not only is the rent expensive, but then if you start paying for like food and everything, because the restaurants and everything around there are only mainly fancy ones, so that starts getting expensive. But if money is not an issue for you, then I recommend Tonglor Ekamai. Different areas of Bangkok. Yes, I actually plan on doing that. Like the top 5 areas I recommend living. I was actually gonna do that. So I shouldn't talk too much about it, but depending on the person, I would recommend either Asok, if you're the touristy guy that wants to go to the go-go bars and go, you know, meet up the expats all the time, and then next one would be Rama 9, which is where I live, sort of like a balanced life near night markets, near a nice mall. It's sort of modern. It's like a newer area that they're developing. And then Ari, which is like the new hipster area. It's still a very residentially area, but close to BTS. Rama 3, which would be it's hard to get there. There's no BTS, no MRT, only buses, but local and still relatively close to the city, right next to the river. They say the air is better there too. I don't know. I haven't been there, but it's super peaceful. People love it there in Rama 3. And then some unique areas are like some people would like to live in like near Yaowarat Road. They want to be like there's Yaowarat is becoming hipster too now.
You can maybe across the river if you don't mind to stay.
Oh, across the river, what was it? Sampempeng? What's it called?
Tombury.
The place where we got the motorcycle thing. That place is very popular too.
What was the
The
name?
motorcycle shop. But I will those. I mean, you can start getting into other random areas. Oh, and Tonglor. So those would be the 5 top areas I would recommend to start out with, and then you can get into more detailed stuff. Ethan, what is the best neighborhood with high-end reputation? High-end reputation. Tonglor Ekamai, but I would also say Silom area is also.
Silom is more like a business district, and
Yeah.
they don't have a.
No, there's like super high-end condos
Yeah.
and stuff in Silom.
Ratchaprasant also a good area. Like an area that they have a central ward. They have a lot of new condominiums building.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, this Saturday, I'm gonna be releasing a Discuss Asia live series, and then there's these 3 new condos that are going up, and I sort of discuss, the benefits, and there's actually some science behind it. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but you guys will find out.
Older guys
Use Tinder in Thailand. What's the demographic? I haven't seen older guys use Tinder in Thailand, but then again, older guys tend to also date younger girls. So I guess it doesn't matter if he's right. So your question should be is like the girls you're interested. What age group of girls are you interested in dating? But Tinder has become very big now. A lot of people Tinder. I've definitely met a lot of girls on Tinder. Tinder is like the more modern one. You'll end up meeting the girls who speak English better and stuff. They're the more Americanized people who started doing Tinder. But now, last time I did Tinder was 2 years ago. So now I don't know. I think now like almost everyone's doing it. But the older crowds tend to do Thai friendly or something. Thai friendly. And that would probably be for if you want to meet women like mid-30s and above. I think they tend to do Thai friendly a lot. But Justin actually, I heard he met someone like 29 on Thai friendly, so she seems nice too.
Oh yeah, you met her.
No, it's just what Justin told me. Yeah, what is the best neighborhood with high? Ethan, why? Hi, new member here from London.
London.
Let's stay out here for a few months. How easy is it to get a short-term let on a place to live? It's
How short is that?
if you want to get actually a condo and stuff, then usually the
6
terms are
months.
at
Minimum,
minimum
like
6
6
months.
months.
They usually want one year. If it's anything less than 6 months, then I recommend you do Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Or if you have a bit more money and you want to, then I would recommend you look
Service
into service
apartment.
apartments. There's a bunch of service apartments near Tonglor Ekamai, which are nice. It's basically like living in a hotel, but it's more local, and then somebody still comes in and cleans up after you. Do you do direct to landlords, or are the agencies that deal with all that, and are the strict like in Europe and about showing wage slips, etc. Thank you.
It depends who you contact. Some owner, landlord, yeah.
No, it's definitely, well, I don't know about Europe, but I know it's definitely not as strict as America. Because in America, they'll run your credit, all this stuff. But no. Out here, basically, cash is king. So generally, they'll want like 3 months rent up front, but they recently passed the law, so now I think you can only do 1 month's rent up front. Um, and the landlords though have a little way more power. You have less rights as a renter, but generally you got one through an agent though, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Mayu got one through an agent. As a foreigner, sometimes
But
when you're buying a house or a condo, I actually don't advise using an agent. But when you're renting one, I actually sort of think there's a big benefit to using an agent because you're dealing with local landlords, and they might try to screw you over or whatever with different things, and you can just tell your agent to deal with it.
I stayed under the two condos before. It was renting from the owners, and then I didn't have any problem at that time.
I guess it depends on the person, but I've had my friends. A lot of them start out using an agent, and then when they renew it, they just don't use the agent. But if you're quite picky, and there'll be like situations like Mayu doesn't understand, like in America, like if you're from America, you should be aware like landlords cannot like all of a sudden request to view your condo unannounced for whatever reason, right? Unless they give at least a week's notice or something. That kind of stuff doesn't exist out here, right? Landlords will drop by and say, hey, there's some issue, I need to look at the unit, and give you only like a day or two notice, right? This kind of stuff, if these are the kinds of stuff that your agent can deal with. So if it's your first time out here, there is sort of a benefit to using an agent. But you can deal with just doing it directly yourself. If you are, like I mentioned in my other video, check out Hip Flats. That's where I found you can buy, it's like basically the Zillow of Thailand. So, well, actually, maybe Zillow's not out there in Europe, but basically it's a website where you can buy and rent, condos and houses. So check out Hip Flats, and then you can do it yourself, or you can go through an agency. But you have to be careful with the agency because sometimes the higher end agencies tend to rip you off. Yeah, that's the only thing you have to be careful of. As a foreigner, there's like a license to rip you off because they think it's okay because you're a foreigner, you have money. So that's the only reason I would advise against agencies, because there are certain agencies that tend to like rip you off and charge you like ridiculous prices. But if it's like reasonable, they're only charging you about 3, 4, 5%. It's only $300 rent. Like, how much more are you paying not to deal with the landlord directly yourself, and making sure you get your deposit back, things like that. So that's one of the benefits of using an agent. Rent a place other than deposit and IDs. Any other requirements? It depends on the landlord.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even heard some ridiculous things. I've heard Indian people say that like they get discriminated against renting out here. If you say you're Indian, you can't rent because some Thai landlords don't want their houses smelling like curry. So like
Not curry, like say spices.
like yeah, curry spices. So there's like some ridiculous things that do happen out here that would completely be unacceptable in
Another country.
in
America.
America. So sometimes now I'm so used to these kinds of things though that I sometimes forget to think about things from an American's perspective. I might be missing something, but generally I don't think the requirements are too difficult. Cash is king out here.
Or maybe they need work permit.
So yeah, I mean the biggest requirement I think you could maybe come across is if you have a work permit or not.
If you pay whole rent, like cap, what from.
But no, I mean,
Oh,
actually,
I
no, Maya. Don't. Like, I have tons of friends who are out here on tourist visas. They have no problems finding rent. Yeah. So I don't want to discuss it too much. It's quite simple. Just come out here. You know, if you don't feel comfortable with it, just get an agent. But if you're relatively comfortable dealing with people, you know how to deal with conflict. You're not like conflict avoidant. Then just use hip flats and talk to them and negotiate a deal yourself. The biggest thing that you have to be careful of that people complain is the landlords tend to keep your deposit after. So that's the main thing. So don't give more than a month's deposit, right? But then sometimes you don't have an option if you're renting less than a year. Most landlords will not rent to you if like for only a couple months and not require like a larger deposit. So that's the only thing. Other than that, just get the service apartments and they're very professional. It's like a hotel. So, but you have to pay a little bit more. And then you have Airbnb. So
Yeah, Airbnb makes more.
I think Airbnb is more
Easier.
practical if you're renting for like a month, 2 months,
two,
3 months. When you get into 6 months, then you can save maybe $50, $100. Then
Yeah,
then go
maybe,
with
maybe $100.
yeah. I heard a story about landlords renting apartments and keeping deposits and rent money and then kicking them out and then looking for a new victim. This was Cambodia. Um, that's pretty extreme. No, that wouldn't really happen.
No, Thailand doesn't do
Yeah, I mean, there's Thailand is actually a relatively developed country. I say relative because it is developed, but to an American, there is no other country that's gonna be as legal or like rights driven as America. So if you're coming from America, there might be some things that might shock you, but having traveled to other countries, yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons I decided to live in Thailand after traveling to Cambodia. I just felt like, oh my gosh, this is heaven out here. Got it, thank you. Newer condos have on-site management to facilitate renting available units. Actually, that is completely true. So, you can actually, if you go to Hip Flats, you'll see. If you go to Hip Flats, you'll see that there are a lot of property management companies that are renting as well. You can even, if there's a particular condo you like, you can actually go to the condo. And it depends on the condo itself. It's not every company, like Lumpini, for example, the one I have. At my particular place, they don't have on-site management renting. And I think it's because all the units are completely sold out. But a lot of the times in the condos, the developer doesn't sell out all the units. And what they do is they rent it out. So if you go, they usually have like a sales office that also rents downstairs. So I know the Lumpini in Pinklao that my aunt used to have, even if you wanted to rent out your unit as a renter, like a landlord, you can actually contract the Lumpini and then they will like take a cut, like 5% or whatever, and deal with all the property management issues for you. Brilliant advice, guys. Thanks again. Your condos have on site. Any test prep content that specializes in American SAT TOEFL, which pay teachers more, higher, and client private tutoring?
This is like just getting a Q&A now.
Alright, it is. So yeah, actually my particular school does TOEFL and TOEIC, SAT, etc. Yeah, those teachers get paid more. There's a bit more bonus. I think they get almost like 30% more than I do than teaching general conversation. But when it starts getting into private tutoring, all private tutoring is technically illegal now, unless you have your own business and then you're signing up because you have to have a work permit to work in Thailand. So private tutoring doesn't fall under one of those things. Like it's just not a big deal, so you can do it and do under the table. No, Thais take it quite seriously. Any kind of working out here without a work permit, it's pretty serious. But having said that, it's very common practice for people who have regular jobs at schools or at tutoring centers with a valid work permit to be private tutoring students that just want extra attention on the side, and there are a ton of rich Thai people who will pay you a lot to do that. So I have heard that it's quite common practice. I don't particularly do it because my goal, my mo main objective is to try to work as least as possible to try to make as many videos. So I don't even pursue or look into avenues to private tutor. But if you look into it, yes. But lately it hasn't been as popular because a lot of people are hopping onto the online teaching bandwagon because Thailand is very notorious for paying you little. So online teaching English pays really good. A lot of my other teachers are thinking about hopping on there. The only reason they're not doing it is because maybe they want the work permit. But I honestly think work permit is overrated. If you have the money, then just travel, guys. But some people want to just settle down and live in a certain area and have a routine. Well, if that's the case, then you can, work for a school or whatever and teach online on the side. I hear like online teaching can get from like $40 an hour up because generally you're teaching to Chinese kids. And out here, teaching English is gonna get you. I get paid like about $8. I mean, if you get paid like $10 an hour, $15 an hour, then that's quite good. Other than that, you would have to like work at a school and have a full time job, and that's gonna pay you like 40,000 usually a month, which is about $1,300. It's not that much, but it doesn't sound like it's not that much because you actually don't really need a lot to live out here. So yeah, this is only for people who are really really interested in working. But again, you shouldn't be working out here if it's for the money. The money really 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 sucks. So people just generally work out here just to get a work permit because cost of living out here is cheap. They're maybe out here and they have social security or whatever and they're living like kings anyways and they don't want to deal with the hassles of traveling. So they work instead. Which to me is pretty ridiculous because I'm like, well, I would rather just, travel to another country if I had that money, but that's just me. Is Mayu your bodyguard? If so, tell her to wake up.
Huh?
Mayu, wake up. He owns a restaurant in Phuket. He said that you must hire 4 Thai people working for you. Yeah, if you, I mentioned it in an earlier thing, but owning a business out here, it's very, very complex, guys. Depending on, especially if you're into the restaurant, and God forbid, like the bar business or the go-go bar business. Oh my gosh, then it gets so complex. And like, you probably have to, like, bribe someone or something to, like, keep the business. That is Sunny. What are you looking at? Is my your bodyguard told? Two. By the way, you two are the best. Keep up the good work and marathon live streams. That is Sunny in Thailand, a vlogger. Sunny in Thailand, that vlogger guy, he knows what he's doing. And I wouldn't recommend anyone taking lightly what he does. That guy knows what he's doing. He has the connections. He knows the people around there. He knows the authorities. So, yeah, I wouldn't think. I don't want to. Thailand is a great place to live, but it's not like a land of opportunities like America. Like, everyone has equal rights to have a business and be successful with a career. You should not be coming out to Thailand to be making money. That's my main advice. You're gonna find it quite difficult, Not saying that there aren't opportunities, but you shouldn't come out here expecting to make a lot of money. It's quite difficult to do that. And there's a lot of pitfalls because there's a lot of red tape, a lot of rules that just don't make sense, a lot of laws that just don't apply, um, and it's just dealing with immigration alone should have you realize that what's written and what's actually practiced is different. Um, that even though there is a law, it's not always reliable. It just sometimes depends on the feelings of an officer that day or whatever. This kind of stuff. I mean, owning a business is hard enough. I I certainly cannot imagine like dealing with regulations and stuff like that, or maybe pissing off the wrong person who's like higher up in the authority who could actually do something to your business. Is owning a business is not easy out here, guys.
Start raining.
Yeah, buying a condo out here was probably pretty bold, but it wasn't because my aunt already had one, and then she told me about it. So, luckily, I had people around me who advised me and gave me good advice on it. That's why I did pretty good. But now, would I buy a condo now? Oh my gosh, the prices have gone up. Like I've had my condo for about 2 years now. Prices have gone up almost like 30% already. Condos in general. Gee, it's just so crazy this bubble. Like, should you buy one now? I don't know. But then again, like stock prices in the States have almost gone up more than 30%, like 40-50%. So it's the bubble's even bigger there. So it's all relative now. Is there is no great investment. It's just like which one is better than the other. Um, are you worried about the floods eventually impact you? I was worried about the floods. If you see the other video, I minimize that risk. But Bangkok's done a lot to make sure that kind of situation doesn't happen in the future. Although you never want to say never, but I feel relatively safe. I don't understand why we have 50, 100K subs. Oh man, you're gracious. Thank you. He's German. Oh, sunny in Thailand. If Thailand was like US, wide open, it would turn into a suburb of China. Not a change to side. Have you watched 20 Seconds in Thailand? Has condo price gone up? Has it rental price gone up as well? Yeah, this particular condo, the price has gone up, and the rental prices have gone up. I know that because other friends of mine who try to rent here, they're telling me now that the prices are much higher than what my other friend rented for 2 years ago. So
How much did you pay for that? 1,500? Another 15,000?
he was paying 1,500, but he was living in his was like 40 something square meters.
On a corner room, right?
Yeah, it was a corner room, so it was much better than mine. But at that time, I remember when this condo first went up, they were renting like the smaller units for 1,200. But if you look at hip flats now, and that was what was
12,000.
yeah 12,000. That's what I saw listed on hip flats. But if you see hip flats now, what they list the condo prices for, at this condo, it's 15,000. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So almost like a 20% increase in rental. And then as far as the prices that they list for selling, you know, back then they listed it for. A lot of people say, well, they don't sell for what they actually list for. That's why I'm talking about what I saw it listed for 2 years ago, right? And then what I actually pay for it. Well, I paid what it was listed for, and I could have probably discounted it. But back then, that's what it was being listed for, and now it's being listed for. So the 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 price difference of what is listed for and the amount you discount is relatively still the same, between 2 years ago and now. And this particular condo I saw listed 2 years ago for about 1.7 million, but now I see it listed for no less than 2.3 million baht. So how much is that? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. more than 20%. It's about 30% increase in price just in 2 years. So, but I knew that this condo was particularly gonna do good. Not all, don't expect all the condos to do good, but I did my research. Like they opened up a brand new mall here. I knew that this was Rama 9 and that it was gonna start booming. Um, I I knew that RCA area was gonna become very popular with the tourists, and it did even better than I expected because it's particularly popular with the Chinese tourists, and the Chinese are driving the market mainly right now. So that's why this condo did pretty good. Um, Not to change the subject, have you watched 20 Seconds in Thailand? Yeah, I've actually watched 20 Seconds in Thailand. I've actually even seen him. I met him. I didn't really talk to him, but if you see, like, there's a video I do where I go to Warren's birthday, another vlogger, and Kev in Thailand, 20 Seconds in Thailand. He was out there. I don't really talk to 20 Seconds in Thailand though, because if you watch his videos, he's super talkative and like, but when he's with other people, like just normal life, he's actually just a very relaxed like guy, you know, like me. Like a lot of people don't know that I'm actually an introvert, so I think he's like me. Like when he's on screen, he talks a lot, but when he's alone, he doesn't really talk much. Yeah. Yeah, Kev, I've actually talked to him a couple times. He's like 2 times I've talked to him because he's a friend of another vlogger that I vlogged with out here. Rob. Yeah, I really don't know him that well. I met him twice. Like I've seen him. Like I didn't actually talk to him. I just seen him. And then yeah, I know like a couple of his friends, but that's about it. I don't really know him too well. Gosh, I'm actually starting to lose my voice. Where is your next adventure? Originally, it was actually I was originally supposed to go to Myanmar, but we ended up going to Taiwan.
It's rainy season in Myanmar now.
Yeah, it all depends on when I have time, and when I have money, and what the weather is like at that time. So we're thinking Myanmar for our next like adventure type of adventure. If we go to a city, we'll probably go to Japan, or it might be Korea. Just because I have to go to Korea because I have to see family often. So there's always an odd chance that I'll probably go to Korea again. But yeah, Japan or Myanmar, I'm thinking. I really want to go do a long trip to India though. I have a hard time understanding Kev. Yeah, quite frankly, I have a hard time understanding Kev too. Like even when I see him in person, I don't really talk to him that much because he's got that accent, and then like the vocabulary is different too. Good night, guys. Thanks so much for everything. Awesome, great, yes. As I see people sign off, this is good because I also need to do good night too. With his accent. Okay. Your vlogs are great. You two make a great. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. We're gonna have to, actually, you know what? I could go on longer, but Maya has to work tomorrow, so guys, I'll have to start signing off.
No, you can do the monologue.
Monologue. This has been a monologue of like hour and a half. The main like Taiwan thing was 40 minutes, I remember. Now it is at 100. Jesus. No, that's 2 hours. We've been talking for 2 hours, answering questions. I gotta save some questions for later, guys. I have to have like some content to like do next time. So I'll have to sign off, guys. But appreciate you guys staying on for so long, and Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Yes, the morning.
And I will definitely see you guys. All of you guys right now on. I know you guys. Dan, Larry Hernandez. I see you guys commenting all the time. So I really appreciate you guys. And Jack, oh my gosh, Jack's been on here with us since the beginning. Oh, he's our Patreon. Love that guy. Taiwan, I think I've seen him comment a lot too. So yeah, all you guys on here, I really, really appreciate you guys. Um, being on the live stream, and thank you so much for supporting the channel and loving it. I cannot say enough. It's very motivating. Yeah. And there's a lot of Thailand vloggers. There's a lot of travel vloggers, and lately I feel like, there's a lot of talented vloggers out there. But somebody said, we should have 100K, 50K subs. But Christ, I am like really, really happy that we have, the 12,000 subscribers. It's really hard to be a YouTuber out here lately. It's just so saturated. There's so many people doing it, and we're not like doing it for like, we weren't professionals or anything, but even just, yeah, I'm so amazed that we even have 12,000 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you guys. The attention you give us, the love you give us, it really means a lot, really. So but I really have to sign off now. I wish I had something better to say, like something more that made sense, but now I'm just sort of rambling, so sort of tired. But I'll see you guys next time. Yeah? Bye.